on a few different dimensions. We used to require the GRE, but we waived that during COVID. And then after COVID, we started looking back at the data, and we saw that our students who performed well on the GRE and our students who came in and performed less well, like they had worse scores, and even our students who were able to come in during the time when the GRE scores were waived, there was really no predictive power on student success based on their GRE performance. And so based on that, like kind of retrospective, looking back at our earlier data, we decided to formally remove it as a requirement. So for our MS Econ program here at UTEP, you just have to submit your transcripts for your undergraduate institution. If you went to a graduate program before, I know we have some students who come in with an MBA already or things like that, you can submit those transcripts too. And then you need a 1 or 2 page statement of purpose. And so I'll talk about the statement of purpose first. I find that that's really informative for me to see what people are thinking about, like how students are viewing the program and how they're seeing the program as a way to further their own goals. And those are the best statements of purpose. I don't necessarily need to hear a bunch of generic stuff about economic theory and things like that. What I really want to hear is, this is what I'm interested in, this is why I'm interested in it, here's where I see myself working, and here's why this program will help me get there. If you can connect all those dots, then I think it makes a very compelling statement of purpose. Outside of that, when we look at transcripts, we will immediately look at the bottom GPA. Typically, if you have under a 3.0 GPA, it's going to require me to make a strong case in your favor. Most of our applicants have above a 3.0 GPA, so that's not usually a problem. But then, outside of just having at least the 3.0 GPA overall, I will look at your upper division econ and math courses. And so if you have a 3.0 or a 3.1 and a 4-point scale like we use here in the US, if you have that GPA, but then you made a bunch of C's and D's in your econ and math courses, it's probably not going to work. So the other side of that is if you have a 2.8, but you made A's in your econ and math courses, you just happen to do really bad in history or whatever it is, then it'll probably work for you to get in. It'll probably be easy to accept. And so that's really the screening process. It's to simply read the statement of purpose, make sure someone can come up with a coherent story or narrative about why the program is integral for their success, and then to review their transcripts to make sure that they have taken the courses they need to be successful in the program and they've performed well enough in those courses at the undergrad level.
Oh, great. I think I like the point where you just don't look at the bottom GPA, and also look at the economics courses that the person has
Exactly.
taken. And that has to be the prerequisite courses, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, for the most part, it's going to be things like, for me, if I see that you've done well in econometrics, you've done well in math econ, you've done well in micro theory, that's probably good. And then if I can double check and see, oh, well, you also did well in calculus and maybe linear algebra, that's even better.
Okay.
Those aren't required. I know we've had several students come in who have not had calculus. Most have at least some type of business calc or intro calc. It's useful. Good performance in statistics courses, also good. But that can definitely supplement a lower GPA. So someone who has a 3.8, but then hasn't taken calculus and hasn't done well in econometrics is going to look worse in our evaluation than say someone with a 3.3 that has taken those courses and scored an A or a B in them.
Yeah. I didn't hear you mentioning recommendation letter.
We don't actually require them. So some places do require recommendation letters, but that's not something that we look at.
But why is that so? Because I think most schools require that. Why don't you?
I don't find them very informative.
Okay.
I've read enough and I've written enough. I tend to